3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, everybody. And you're all welcome to our inaugural Youth in Local Government Day. I'm so proud of all the students that are here. All day they've been working with their council members, listening, asking questions. And right now, this is the best part of the day where they get to present to us the ideas they've been working on for the last couple of weeks. I'm so excited to hear what they've got to tell us. I know we have a lot to learn from all of them. Before we get started, I wanted to thank Metro Nashville Public Schools, the central office, for working with us to make this possible. I want to thank the MMPS board members that are here that have been talking to the kids all day. I want to thank my colleagues, council members that are here, that are visiting with the kids, listening to them, answering questions, and here to listen to them as well. I want to thank the Mayor's Youth Council for being a part of this, Antioch High, Paul Cohn, McGavock. And last but not least, I want to thank our partner, the Nashville Child and Youth Collaborative, NCYC. They've been a great partner in this, and so I'm grateful that they're here. We're going to hear from the ambassadors. So at this point, we're going to, our first presentation is going to be by Antioch High School. Colleagues, if you have questions, it's going to be the same thing like we do on council. You just let me know, raise your hands, and I will press your button. If anyone in the back has a question, you're welcome to walk up to that podium over there, and then we'll turn on that mic and you can ask questions. We have 10 minutes for presentation and 5 minutes for question. And so we don't want to waste time. I know you don't want to keep hearing from me. You're ready from the kids. And so I'm going to turn it over to Antioch High School.
Before we start off, I want to give a thanks to all the council members here for giving us a platform to have our voice heard and trusting us with this big issue in Nashville. And here's our solution. Our issue is affordable housing crisis. And our solution is based off a quote from our mayor, Freddie O'Connell. Let's build a Nashville that works for all Nashvillians.
So before we start with talking about our issue of affordable housing, we need to define affordability. So affordability, when it comes to housing in Nashville, is defined as when you spend 30% or less of your total income on housing purposes, not including utilities. Housing affordability. Approximately 70% of Nashvillians fall either into the affordable or workforce housing income brackets, highlighting the importance of maintaining affordability amidst rising housing costs. So this chart to the right here shows that 46% of Davidson County residents are renters. 49% of renters are cost burdened, which means that they spend over 30% of their income on housing. And of those, 23% are severely cost burdened, which means that they spend over 50% of their income on housing. The chart below shows that women and people of color spend significantly more on housing purposes than other Nashvillians.
Now, the main reason why we strive so hard to provide affordable housing for everyone is because we see it as a major issue, and it is, in fact, a major issue. Nashville has a population that has been steadily increasing in recent years, fueled by both domestic migration and international migration. Nashville has experienced a surge in housing prices and rents in recent years, due in part to its population growth and popularity. This has led to concerns about housing affordability, particularly for low-income residents. This shows the year-over change statistics. So the average household income is about $102,000. The median household income is $67,000. People below poverty, they fall at $63,000 approximately, and then people above poverty are $377,000.
Real estate market dynamics. The absence of rent control in Tennessee allows landlords to raise rents without a cap, which can lead to significant rent increases for tenants, potentially impacting housing affordability and sustainability for renters. Our corporate home ownership buyouts. The rate of corporate home ownership in Nashville increased significantly from 17.3% in quarter one of 2021 to 24.6% in quarter one of 2022. As you can see on this chart, Nashville is number 9 in corporate home ownership rise in the United States.
So the problem that arises with this is that as these corporations buy more and more single-family homes in the city of Nashville, they have a monopoly on the market, which allows them to raise the prices pretty much without without backlash and which drives people out, which furthers the issue of raising prices on single-family homes.
And so, to give some context about affordable housing crisis, the affordable housing crisis in Nashville, I first want to give you some background on what redlining is. So, by definition, redlining is the practice of denying people access to credit because of where they live. So, historically, red light neighborhoods, Nashville, predominantly black communities like North Nashville, Antioch, and Edge Hill, have experienced disinvestment due to factors such as interstate highway construction and industrial development. By that highway construction, that is talking about the highway that was built through Jefferson Street. And then these areas have faced challenges in terms of economic development and housing equity. So if you could take a look at this map, this is a map of Nashville in the 1930s. This was what they used to identify these redlined areas. So everything you see colored in red, those were where corporations and bankings thought that this would not be a good investment for them to buy these houses because they were at risk. If you take a look at the blue and yellow areas, these are where they felt like they would have a better interest, they had better education, and if we look at how this correlates to today, not a lot of the redlined areas have changed, even though redlining was, I believe, outlawed in 1968 to the Fair Housing Act. You can still see that there hasn't been a change in that. So in these redlined areas, these were the main things we found. So usually low wage earners and laborers were working here. You had environmental hazards, that was through construction and other pollution. Public education lacked quality alongside post-secondary opportunities, and transportation is scattered and harder to access in certain areas. And because of that, there was a decline in property value.
This is a true story that we got from the government website, that Charlie, at age 47, Charlie is a single man who works a full-time job as a line cook, making around $1,500 per month. His apartment complex was sold to new owners who doubled the rent, forcing him out. He struggled to find another place where he could afford the rent. Although he had a steady job, Charlie became homeless, staying with friends or in cheap motels for 2 months before an affordable apartment became available. Still, he pays $950 per month in rent, which is 61% of his income, and must pay for utilities and food. Charlie couldn't come up with the $250 utility deposit required by NES, so he took out a flex loan with 209.5% interest. He still hasn't been able to pay off the flex loan balance. The loan payments now cut into his food budget. He gets less than $100 in food stamps each month and says that he's very anxious about becoming homeless again.
So within the United States, there are some states that have already established what we're trying to propose today as laws. Like Tennessee, California has in the past struggled with housing their growing residential population. Their Assembly Bill 854 relates to the withdrawal of accommodations, particularly in the context of corporate entities purchasing single-family homes in bulk. This restriction is intended to address concerns about the impact of corporate buyouts on the availability of rental housing, particularly in areas facing housing shortages or affordability challenges. Then in Massachusetts, there is House Bill 5250. It is a significant legislation that addresses concerns about corporate buyouts of residential properties. It was enacted in 2021. This bill imposes a tax on certain real estate transfers to corporate entities. The tax is intended to discourage corporate buyouts of residential properties, particularly in areas facing housing shortages or affordability challenges. By imposing this tax, the legislation aims to incentivize individual home ownership and discourage speculative investment by corporate entities in residential real estate market. And like the one my partner is about to present, both these laws were once proposals.
Our solution. The city of Nashville is amidst a housing crisis due to corporations purchasing single-family homes in low-income areas with the sole intent of price gouging hard-working Nashvillians. The implementation of this resolution will mitigate the corporate's control over Nashville's neighborhoods while ensuring the safe and prosperous growth of the city of Nashville. So I believe y'all do not have a copy of this bill that we drafted. However, we can get that to you at a later time if you would like to see it. This bill talks about how it would impose a 20% cap on the area or any residential place in Nashville. That 20% cap would be what the corporations would be allowed to purchase. So, for example, if I had 100 homes in a single residential neighborhood, corporations would only be allowed to purchase 20 of those homes. And this solves part of the solution, as it doesn't limit corporations into how much housing they can buy, as they can always purchase housing in a separate residential area. But it mitigates them from focusing on certain low-income neighborhoods and forcing out residents. So when we were talking to our council members this morning, we discovered that the state of Tennessee may have an issue with a bill proposed something like this. And if that occurs with the state of Tennessee, we have found another solution, which is to talk to homeowners associations about this particular issue. Some of our council members mentioned that their particular homeowners associations have implemented something like this in the past, and they would definitely be interested in taking it up with other homeowners associations to prevent corporations from purchasing homes in their specific jurisdictions.
All righty, great job, guys, and I love. Awesome. All right, colleagues, do you have any question? Is my mic on? The light is on, but, all righty, question. Councilmember Porterfield, you're recognized.
Thank you so much, and thank y'all. Y'all did a wonderful job. Can y'all give them another round of applause? They did such a great job. Thank you for providing another solution, and since we are preempted, thank you for providing another solution. I did want to touch on, you talked about redlining and how the communities that were historically redlined starting in the 1930s are the same communities that have experienced an underinvestment, and we are seeing the results now from the redlining that happened in the 1930s. Do you think that it's a good idea for council, for our city to invest in those communities that have historically been underfunded?
Okay. Yeah, I do think that that would be a great thing for these councilmen to do. If we look back previously, Jefferson Street was a flourishing place in Nashville. It was actually a center for music. We had many notable music artists, like Ray Charles was actually here for that. But when the construction of that highway came, it completely destroyed an entire community. And from there, we just saw a decline in many of the closer universities, like TSU was also there. They started to see a loss in investment simply because they were just trying to build a highway. So I feel that if we encourage the funding of these communities, then not only we can rise as Nashville, but then we can continue to make sure that all Nashvillians are flourishing, kind of like what we said with the first quote with our mayor. Yeah, makes sense.
Excellent job. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, does anyone have any question? All right, Councilmember Sepulveda, you're recognized. If I can find your thing here. Where are you? You're recognized.
Thank you, Chair, for recognizing me, even though I'm not part of this committee. I do have questions. First of all, thank you so much for bringing this presentation forward and working so hard on it. I did want to note a couple of things regarding your solution when it comes to HOA. There are very much parts of town where HOAs aren't very prevalent, right? In my district, I only have one HOA, and that just happened after redistricting. Before that, I didn't have any. And so when you look at the communities and the neighborhoods where we're talking about this solution, I want to make sure that we're not leaving out the communities where we won't see this. And those are a lot of minority communities, a lot of immigrant communities, a lot of underfunded communities. I think almost 20% of my district lives at or below the poverty line. So I would want to make sure that they also have access to solutions when it comes to affordable housing. Another problem that we see is that—
Councilmember, will you ask your question?
I'm coming to it. She's strict, you see. And I say that because one of the problems that we see is that a lot of the affordable housing units aren't promoted, especially in immigrant communities. So my question is, how would you work to make sure that those communities are aware of available units if this solution if the solution is to promote affordable housing?
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for bringing up a wonderful point of communities who do not have a homeowners association. There are a lot of those in Nashville. And so since this topic is preempted by the state of Tennessee, I believe we would have to work with those communities who do have homeowners associations. And for those who don't, you mentioned a lot of immigrant communities and migrant communities in the city of Nashville. There are a lot of nonprofits such as the Tennessee Immigrants and Refugee Rights Coalition who do a lot of work with immigrants in those parts of town. And we can work with them along with other nonprofits to find a solution that works for the city of Nashville and the state of Tennessee.
Thank you, guys. Great presentation. Yes, thank you. All right, Anya, thank you. Our next team will be McGavock. Good job, guys. 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 All righty. Thank you. Thank you.
You guys are McGavock.
Let's go to clicker. All right, thank you, guys. And so the next team that we have is McGavock High School.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are representing McGavock High School, and we'll be discussing the problem with public transportation in Nashville and its effects. And we will now be passing the floor over to Gabriella.
I'm Gabriella, and I'm here to share my personal story experiencing public transit in Nashville. When I was 13, I was downtown with no ride home, and it was really scary because I couldn't really navigate the WeGo system well. So as I'm trying to navigate, I come across a bus stop, but isn't the right one. So I have to walk about a mile to the bus station and figure out which bus I'm supposed to go on. I'm then put onto a bus, and it's the wrong bus, but luckily the bus driver was kind enough to give me a ticket. And I consider myself very fortunate in this experience, whereas others may not be. So I just want to keep that in mind, and I'm passing it to Dev.
My name is Dev Patel. In my case, transportation has a huge impact on my working schedule. I get out of school at 2:05 p.m. and I have to go to work at 4 p.m. On average, it takes about 15 minutes to get home from a school bus. Recently, my school bus broke down, and I thought it would be a 10 to 15 minute quick little fix, but I was wrong. The time was 3:05. The time was 3:05, and I was panicking because my parents work until 5 p.m. And luckily, my grandpa was free that day, so he picked me up, and I got to work on time. So I went online to see if I have a public transportation, to see if I have a route to get back home. Unfortunately, I don't. That means I would have to walk 3 hours to get back home.
Now we would like to present what the problem is regarding our Nashville transportation system.
To start off, we would like to talk about the sidewalks. In a 2023 article, they state that in 4,600 Nashville miles, they are missing sidewalks, and 1,900 of those miles were deemed to be in critical need of sidewalks. And last year, Nashville constructed sidewalks in just 8 of those 1,900 miles. Without those sidewalks, there's no safe way to walk without if there's no way to use the bus. And there's no way to get onto the buses if there's no sidewalks to stand on to get onto the bus, which makes these buses really unappealing.
To add to what Carolina said, there is a lack of bus routes and inaccessible, and they can be very inaccessible, and this can drive away people from using public transportation. And due to the fact that it's inaccessible, it can be very scary to some people, due to the fact that some bus stops simply are just signposts with no maps or reliable translations for non-native English speakers. And additionally, the lack of bus routes can cause unnecessarily long rides for short distances. An example can be seen when many members of us went to the WeGo website and looked at the time it would take to go from McGavick High School to the Opry Mills. And according to that, it would take an hour and 50-minute bus transportation, and when really it's just a 10-minute drive.
In addition, with a rapid increase in population, Nashville has had to greatly expand. But we have no system in place to manage the traffic that has come with it. So because of this, Nashville has been deemed to have one of the longest commute times from destination to destination. And I'm sure many of us have experienced this issue.
So with this slide, I asked all the members to put their drive time to school from their house to school and how it would be if they took the WeGo bus. And as you can tell, it doesn't matter the drive time, even the shortest drive time, which is 11 minutes, there's no bus route to school. And when there is a bus route, it can range from 1 hour and 30 minutes to 3 hours, which makes it really impractical to be using a bus.
We came up with some potential solutions to these problems.
I'll start us off with the bus lanes. I feel like we could use bus lanes, as you can see, or as seen in places like New York City. They have bus lanes that are only open at certain hours to limit traffic. And these lanes are marked as bus lanes or are painted red to increase visibility of them. In addition to that, they have cameras that enforce rules, and they have off-board fare collection to decrease the time at each stop that people take putting in their tickets. And then they have bus bulb stations that help with the safety issue. And those have sidewalks widen and give room, amenities, and information to people who are using the bus.
Also, increases in bus stops and routes that travel through smaller cities and don't really have to run through the downtown would allow rides to greatly decrease in time duration, and cheaper bus fares allow for more accessible bus transportation, incentivizing using the bus transportation and actually allowing it to become an option for people.
To make these public transportation systems more appealing, we should make them safe. So to get to these bus stations, sidewalks should be lit at nighttime and early in the morning. This also helps sidewalks and the route to get to these bus stations handicap accessible to many, and just generally safer. To continue on that, many of the bus stops, as said previously, are just a post and a sign. We feel like these bus stops should have shelters, and those cost about $10,000 to $15,000 to make, but they are safer, handicap accessible, and they're just visually open to the eye to make sure that bus stops are seen and people are safe. This will greatly decrease pedestrian deaths that have happened.
Another solution, we could create an app that is user-friendly and also has multiple translations to a lot of languages. And we could promote this. There is already a third-party app, but it's unreliable. Promoting this might look like setting up QR codes or making ads for this. Many of our members here have tried to navigate through the website, and it's proving confusing to find certain things. This wouldn't be a problem if we had an app to easily navigate, and translations. There is Google Translate implemented into the website, but two of our members who are fluent in Spanish have seen if it was accurate, and it's been proven to be inaccurate. Now to pass you back to Ms. Ferguson.
So, this was just a little exit ticket that I came up with. If you would like to gain more perspective on where we're coming from, you can look up on the WeGo website either your home from work, if there's any routes available, or the closest school to you, and if it's less than hours, so you can see exactly the lengths that it goes to using public transit.
Wow. Question, colleagues. All right. Councilmember Greg.
McGavick High School, great job today.
Good job.
I want to say thank you for letting me spend time with you. It's very inspiring. I have a question. One of your solutions was to add more bus routes. Where do you think those routes should be added?
That's the planning table. There you go.
It would be added downtown to make transportation to and from work easier, but also to some of the surrounding districts, right? To like Madison or to Hermitage, right? So that commute from work from work to home or school to work or school to home would be a lot better.
I agree. Thank you.
All right, Councilmember Vo, and then Councilmember Ellis.
Thank you so much. Great presentation. I just had a couple questions. When y'all talk about solutions being cheaper fares, can you expound on like how much you're looking for, the price where it is today and where you would like it to be? And then I know we focus a lot on the bus lane. So in addition with transit, there are all types of other solutions. So I wanted to know if y'all were solely focused on bus or if there's other explorations of other types of transit for possible solutions.
First on the fares, right now, when you go on the WeGo website, it's anywhere from like $65 to $175 a month, right? This could be difficult for students that are trying to use that to go to and from school. And work as well. So we would maybe considering having like discounts. And I know that some schools like McGavick, they give us a WeGo bus pass with our school ID, right? If that could be applied to more schools that maybe don't have that, that would be a lot better for them, right? And then also, what was your second question again?
Oh yeah, it was addressing more solutions outside of buses, because I think most of the solutions you all discussed were very bus focused. So I wanted to know if y'all had explored light rail or other types of solutions with transit.
We've considered bike lanes. I know that there's some more bike lanes. Adding more bike lanes would definitely be helpful. And also adding more sidewalks would also be beneficial to other multimodal transportation like walking, using scooters, bikes, et cetera, et cetera.
And one last question. Love the solutions. To find solutions, we've got to build sidewalks, right? So that costs money. So what is your solution on how do we fund how do we fund more sidewalks? How do we fund more buses for the bus routes?
Regarding funding, I feel if the people of Nashville are being informed that an increase in tax would be going to reliable methods of public transportation, which would help those who don't have reliable forms of transportation or those who use their own transportation but is lengthy or just not time efficient, it would be beneficial for those people. I feel like they'd be more inclined and happy to pay forth those dollars to be able to just have that convenience.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much.
Wow. I should send this to Mayor O'Connor. I think he has a video for his referendum right here. All right, Councilmember Ellis. I give him 1 second. Give me 1 second. I have too many mic open. There you go. You're recognized. And that would be the last question.
Wonderful presentation, and the personal story adds to the captivating storytelling element of the presentation. So nice job there. I would love to hear more about the idea of around having lights on sidewalks. What are some of the options to allow that to be feasible?
We were considering adding lights to bus stops so they're easier to find for pedestrians. We didn't talk about this in here, but I know that there's something called an IoT city, which is an information of things city, right? This is where the infrastructure is all connected through like wireless connections. If you could have motion detected lights on the sidewalk so that they're not always using energy, maybe that could be a possible solution.
All right. Thank you, guys. Ah, sorry. So I was told there was a student that had a question in the back and I missed it from another school. So please, you can email me your question or just talk to the McGavock team and then we'll get you an answer. Sorry about that. If there's anyone at the podium, just wave so I can see you so I can turn on your mic. Thank you.
What's up? Just keep an eye on me for time. Where you gonna be at?
And our next presentation will be by Paul Cone High School.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming out to hear our concerns about gun violence in the youth of our community. The group recognizes that none of these suggestions will completely get rid of gun violence, but to do nothing is not an option. Of course, these suggestions take money, but more than that, it takes will. And are we willing as a community to make that commitment? An article, The Economic Toll of Gun Violence, states that gun violence at schools negatively impacts school-level proficiency, especially their science, English, and math scores. For example, the Sandy Hook victims, after that shooting specifically, a lot of those students took a big toll on their education and their scores. While all students are affected, Black and lower income students experience relatively larger effects than their peers. This can contribute to race and income-based gaps in education and beyond that, exacerbate economic disparities long-term. Gun violence has proven itself to have a negative impact on students' education and lives and their outcomes. We must do something to change the narrative. And also, just recently, one of my family members was, he could have been a victim. He was at the shooting that happened on Easter. And also, just from that shooting alone, one person was killed and 5 people were injured. The state of Tennessee lost about $17 million and taxpayers lost around $800,000. And that takes away money that we can invest into our schools, our communities, our jobs, etc.
I will be talking and speaking on how gun violence affects housing and businesses in our neighborhood. In the neighborhoods where gun violence surges take place, they significantly reduce the growth of new retail and service businesses, leading to fewer local jobs to be available for neighborhood residents and fewer local establishments available for residents to shop at. With housing, who wants to live in a neighborhood where you hear people die all the time? In my neighborhood, I hear shooting all the time, and I worry whether it will hit me through a window or through the wall. High gun violence affects company location as well. Businesses don't want a station where there are shootouts and their lives at risk. Also, with gun violence, it also affects employees' emotional and physical wellness. Exposure to gun violence can lead to long-term issues, leaving them feeling shocked, fearful, and unsafe, which then causes more violence because they feel like they need to protect themselves. Needless to say, it's a never-ending depraved cycle that I feel we have the opportunity to break. Here are some suggestions and recommendations.
All right, our first recommendation is to develop a campaign to stop gun violence. 33% of the United States have youth with guns. 1 out of 3 homes with kids have guns. As of December 7th, 2023, at least 40,167 people died from gun violence. Out of those who died, 1,306 were teens and 276 were kids. 22,506 of those deaths were from suicides. Firearms are the leading cause of death for children and teens in Tennessee. An average of 105 children and teens die by guns each year, and 60% of those deaths being homicides. The rate of gun deaths from youth under 17 in Tennessee is 36% higher than the national average. Black children and teens in Tennessee are 4 times as likely as their white peers to die by guns. That's why we made a film to stop gun violence.
Sean. What's going on?
It's not hitting the screen.
Why isn't it on the screen?
Yeah.
It's loaded. All right. What we'll do is, if someone can help us get Miss Rosie or ITS, we cannot use a disk. So we'll get somebody, and then the kids can. Somebody, please help me get Miss Rosie. But you can keep speaking on the rest of the slide while we can watch the video after. Trent, they would not let students touch the mic or the computer.
How's the projection?
Let me get Miss Rosie. Sean, let the PowerPoint continue, and then we'll do the video in the end. Sorry, guys, because today is council meeting, we have to be extra careful, because as soon as we finish, the council is going to come in. So we have very strict rules in terms of who can touch what we can do, what we cannot do. So that's what that is. But I do want us to see the video, so I'll let the PowerPoint presentation continue while we get help with the video. Thank you. Sean, just put the PowerPoint back on. Oh, did we lose connection? Should we start singing?
Can I go ahead and go?
You don't want the slide? Okay, so we'll get back on the slide and then you can go. Okay, all right.
Our campaign includes a social media ads that we'll post with hashtags like graduation over guns, kids should be safe. You can post on all social media platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Reposting and sharing hashtags will reach a new person daily. Our second recommendation is that I think MEPS should distribute clear backpacks to monitor weapons being smudged into schools and establish a hotline to repost guns anonymously.
Also, our idea is to minimize gun violence in schools and communities. They're all welcome to come to after-school hours where they will be taught captivated careers, skills for them to use out in the real world. And it would also improve graduation rates and cut down dropout rates as well.
We support recommendations that many state legislators are talking about. One of those are stolen guns. Illegal guns have posed a significant threat over the years to society and the safety and security of communities. Gun owners should be required to store guns properly. Over 250,000 guns are stolen each year. Gun owners should be fined and must attend gun class. This acts as a deterrent and citizens can benefit by learning the importance of gun safety. The second recommendation is red flag laws. Easy access to guns make it easier for guns to be in the wrong hands. Individuals who are at risk of harming themselves or others, passing red flag laws can help lessen the chance of gun violence. You should be able to express the concern and safety of peers and be heard. You can prevent violent crimes from happening just from a call. We also want to expand background checks to include gun sales by licensed gun dealerships only, not at gun shows or online. If buying from gun shows, the sellers must have a license and the ability to check the TBI background checks. Having a stricter system for background checks helps with preventing guns from being in the hands of unlicensed people. De-escalation training for police to recognize and act accordingly when faced with mental health issues, family disputes, institute penalties. For officers, we want social emotional learning programs for involved in our training maybe could help with how to handle difficult situations when dealing with mental health, which with many young people face those mental issues today. So we feel that can help with that.
The video. Now the video. Thank you.
Man, it's really disrespectful how he hit me like that. I really don't even like all that.
Man, for real, that's why I had to break it up. I cannot watch that.
Like, I don't like all that. I don't tolerate that. I really want to do something to him about that.
Man, what you want to do to him for real?
I'm finna let you know right now.
I hear where you coming from. But as black males, we already have an image put out that makes us look a certain way. They already think we robbing, stealing, shooting up houses and stuff. That's just gonna prove them right.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I feel you. I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna let it go. I'm better than that, for real.
Yeah, let that go. We way better than that.
Nah,
We got too
for
many
real.
dreams to chase right there, man.
And I gotta graduate and everything. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna
Let's
let it
focus on
go.
our dreams, man.
For real.
Thank you, guys. Question, council members. Councilmember Evans, you recognize.
Thank you. That was a really well done presentation, very creative, especially with the video. So thank you for sharing all your input. I did have a question on your the after school and recreation center programming. That I think is probably one of the biggest opportunities that we have in Metro is to really connect programs that are appealing to young adults and how we fund those. And we did some of that work, with council members Gamble and Taylor and a variety of other people last term with some funding that Mayor Cooper had provided. And so I'm really interested in what kinds of programming do you think would be the most appealing to have in the community centers in your community for your fellow high school students?
For example, for where we come from, from ProCone, we have a pathway, AEI, which is the audio entertainment industry. So we like to do a lot of things with just computers and stuff like that, coding stuff involving that. But at the same time, also for a lot of females, like cosmetology is a female-based. I mean, it's for everyone, but a lot of females are known to join it. Even stuff like that would just be amazing, just to keep us off the streets and just keep everyone free time to a minimum. Because that's when things start to happen, is when you have too much free time.
Can I ask a follow-up, Councilmember
I think she
Zulfat?
has an answer for you.
Oh,
too.
okay.
Should I just say something?
Yeah, so to piggyback off what he said, we have it inside of the school, but it would also be nice to have opportunities outside of school to follow up with that. Just like he said, to limit our free time so that we can be working towards something that'll better our future versus us getting involved in things that are not as beneficial to our future.
All right, I'll take the follow-up question, and then I have a question at the podium.
Okay, thank you. And then the follow-up question is, based on the feedback about audio entertainment, cosmetology, and that kind of thing, are there programs that you all have seen in the community that you think are really working well that Metro needs to expand and do more of?
I could only really talk about the AEI because that is the pathway that I'm in and that I represent, because I am one of the ambassadors there. But no, I have not seen any programs outside of school that has happened, or as far as to my knowledge, we haven't really had anything like that. But we did have a coding class that was about to come on, but it fell through.
I can speak for the Health Science Academy. We do have something called work-based learning where people come and we can intern basically at a hospital. So with that academy and pathway, I feel like it was a good opportunity. I like those things. They should be able to continue keep doing those around other schools, not just at Pearl, but anywhere.
Thank you. And before I take the last question, I'm going to say that we will throw it back to you guys as you hear the question. If there are things that you want to work on outside of today, that you want to think about those ideas of what the community thinks that we can do, we'll be more than happy to go through Mr. Howard and hear back. Your mic is open in the back.
Molina Antioch, has there been any other methods used by surrounding schools or counties to limit gun violence or eliminate gun violence?
Not that I really know of. I mean, I know McGavick and like the schools around there have different different things. Ours happens to be AEI, cosmetology and health science, that we represent and that we do on a daily. But I know like McGavick has like an auto workshop and stuff like that. So I don't know all the opportunities they've been given. But as far as opportunities as far as we go is the work-based learning and stuff like that.
Thank you.
I'm allowing a little bit more time just because of the computer snafu. So can't remember Porterfield you recognize, and you will be the last question.
Thank you. And y'all did such an amazing job. So thank y'all so very much. I did want to expound on what Councilmember Evans, her question about the investment in like recreation centers and after school programs. So a lot of times, like as council members, we make these investments, but it doesn't always trickle down to the community, right? So what is the best way that, if we put money in community centers to open them up on Saturdays or to keep them open later on Fridays or whatever the case may be, like what is the best way to help get the word out to people in the community that they are there? And also, what is the best way, I would say, like for you all to maybe partner with the community centers around the type of programming that you all would like to see?
I think we'll do like what we said in our in our PowerPoint. Social media is probably the easiest way to get in touch with the youth because that's kind of what we grew up on. We're that generation that's just so tech savvy, always on TikTok, Instagram, social media. Social media would definitely be the easiest way to get to students and let them know that these opportunities are out here, and also just coming to the schools and making it appealing to what students want versus what adults think we want. That's probably like the easiest way to get to us.
I do want to add one more thing. I know we're short on time, but also to follow through with it. We've always like heard talks about it, whatever, but it's never been a follow through. There's never actually been something that's like, hey, we're committed to this. We want committed adults that are going to be willing enough to take time out of their day to come help us, and we'll be forever grateful for it and make a better community and a better impact on all of our lives.
Thank you. And that's a very good point. I do want to add, and your teachers will attest to this as we meet about this program. One of the things that I told them is that I want it to be beyond today, that the ideas and the conversation that we're hearing today, we'll be working on it throughout the year until the next Mayor's Youth in Local Government Day. So this is not just going to be a conversation. It's one that you have committed adults in here that are listening and that we promise to do some things about. So thank you also very much. All the teams have been wonderful. And so, you're going this way? Yeah, okay. Yeah. I go this way. They don't have a presentation. I think we're done with presentation. Yes.
You ready for them to come in?
Yes, come on in. And our next group is the Mayor's Youth Council. Let's see if we could do a slide and put the topic on the screen.
Hello, we are the Nashville's Mayor's Youth Council. My name is Bethel Deredre, and I go to MLK.
Hello, my name is Lawrence Kimbo. I go to James Lawson.
Hello, my name is Emily Kim and I go to Hume Fog.
Hold on.
Hello, my name is Madison Moore and I go to Nashville School of the Arts.
Hello, my name is Samuka Shashi and I go to MLK.
Hi everyone, my name is Aziza Sharif and I go to Nashville International Academy.
Hello, my name is Susanna Wilkinson and I go to Hillsborough High School.
My name is Millie Peterson and I go to MLK.
My name is Adrienne Gott and I go to Davidson Academy.
My name is Kelvin Graves and I go to Nashville School of the Arts. We also put brochures on your desk, or you should have a brochure to follow along with our presentation. With that being said, raise your hand if you live at least 1 mile from a grocery store. Okay, you can put your hand down. Today I will be talking about one specific grocery store in North Nashville, which is the Kroger on Rosa L. Parks and Monroe Street in District 19. So, say you reside off of Brick Church Pike. There's a 7-minute walk, there is a 7-minute drive, 1 hour walk, and 30-minute bus ride to the Kroger on Monroe. To access the Kroger via a bus, you will have to walk on the Trinity Lane. You have to walk to the Trinity Lane and Hampton Street bus route 71, which goes every 30 minutes during the day and 40 minutes at night and on the weekends. You will have to ride all the way to the Clarksville Highway and 23rd Avenue stop, then transfer to the 22nd bus to the 8th Avenue and Monroe Street station, which, like I said, it will take 30 minutes, but knowing the bus route in Nashville, it could take longer. Residents of North Nashville don't really have convenient accesses to multiple grocery stores like other residents in Nashville. A friend of mine who lives in North Nashville says she wishes there was a grocery store closer to her house instead of driving to the store on Monroe.
I live in Hermitage, Tennessee, a place where we can conveniently access a variety of fresh and healthy food options. Unlike residents in food deserts who often struggle to find nutritious food within a reasonable distance, Hermitage locals can easily find markets like Aldi and Kroger. We have the opportunity to make informed choices about our diets and maintain a healthy lifestyle. This enhances the quality of our lives, but it is unfair that those without the means to live in these communities can't maintain a healthy lifestyle as well.
These less fortunate people are living their lives with food insecurity, when people don't have enough to eat and don't know where the next meal will come from. This food insecurity then leads to the creation of food deserts, and while it's difficult to define, the widely accepted definition is an area where residents have little access to a variety of healthy and affordable foods. These areas often have a high density of fast food restaurants and corner stores. Food deserts are a huge contributor to food insecurity. 10.4% of the nation is food insecure. In Nashville, 17% of the population is food insecure. That is over 100,000 people who don't have consistent access to food, much less healthy food. Additionally, 14.1% of kids in Nashville are food insecure. Definitions and other terms are located on the back of the brochure.
Another term that we use is food apartheid, which describes the systemic situation in which food deserts are created and stems from social inequality, racial inequality, and implicit biases. We cannot address food deserts without acknowledging the history and oppression that allows them to flourish. 85% of residents in Nashville's food deserts are Black. Those areas are North Nashville, South Nashville, East Nashville, and Edge Hill. I live in Edge Hill. We also have a food mirage, which is where people live close to a grocery store that seems to offer a wide variety of healthy food choices, but a majority of individuals in these areas cannot afford that food.
In recent years, food prices has risen an average of 5.8%. With this in mind, it is much more difficult to find and purchase healthy foods. With the use of SNAP, which are also known as Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, the federal government provides an average of $248 per family. But this, with other resources that families will need to survive, is not enough for the entire family. Food sovereignty is the right for healthy and safe foods to be provided for all. However, with rising prices in food and with other resources, food sovereignty cannot be implemented in food deserts.
Food deserts can also create detrimental health consequences, including obesity, diabetes, and other chronic diseases. Specifically, patients with illnesses and who are also going through treatment are more susceptible to accumulating more health issues due to poor access to healthy foods. For example, patients with cardiovascular disease and who are also living in food deserts are 46% more likely of getting a myriad infection, otherwise known as a heart attack.
Children in food insecure households are particularly vulnerable, facing higher risk of conditions such as developmental anomalies and anemia. Their academic and overall well being are also affected, setting a concerning trajectory for future generations. Pop up markets mitigate these issues by providing fresh foods for those living in food deserts. This can definitely support the nutritional necessities Nashville requires.
A person is not only physically but mentally impacted by this problem. According to BMC Public Health, food insecurity is highly associated with anxiety and depression. Additionally, dietary deficiencies generate an imbalance in a person's body, and some may feel symptoms such as poor mood, weariness, and irritability. This varies from person to person, with some having more harmful symptoms than others. Another effect of constant eating of bad meals is reduction of neuroplasticity. Many produce are chemically manipulated, such as GMO, which reduces nutritional value. Stated in Yost Wellness Center, research is also showing a correlation to an increase in learning disabilities, ADHD, autism, mental illness, and hormonal imbalance. Also, some produce that is manufactured use pesticides, which not only affects the consumer, but the farmer. According to Beyond Pesticides, exposure to agricultural pesticides put farmers at a 6 times greater risk of exhibiting depressive symptoms, including chronic anxiety, irritability, restlessness, and sadness. Pop-up farmers markets are an excellent approach for addressing the majority of these difficulties while also having a positive impact. Furthermore, this provides psychological support by creating a safe atmosphere and allowing people to come together in a positive way.
To create an equitable solution, we plan to create a farmers market at the North Nashville WeGo Station or WeGo Central for those living in food deserts or experiencing food insecurity. We plan on partnering with local NGOs such as Second Harvest and businesses such as Kroger to provide us with discounted or free foods with the goal of being serviced by majority local farmers within 2 years of implementation. Additionally, we are hoping to offer a mix of free foods and affordably priced produce or healthy meal options. Ideally, the market would occur twice a week, once during the weekend and once during the work week. We plan on piloting this at WeGo Central with the goal of expanding this in the areas of the food deserts on the maps provided, if successful. There's space at WeGo Central that would not interrupt the flow of the bus, and with additional help, we could get the necessary permits to host this event. The implementation and timeline of this project is dependent on its approval.
Additionally, we plan to contact local farmers markets that are inclusive of workers' rights, such as 12 South and Richland Park, to help us get in contact with local farmers. We are modeling our proposal from similar markets in cities such as Tampa and Atlanta, as we would take discounted rates and offer WIC and SNAP as well. Frequency of the market is dependent upon the approval of the presentation, but as of now, we plan on having a one-test pilot market to seek the results of our plan. We will also use buses as a form of marketing that are language inclusive. They will be inclusive to those who seek higher pay because of already struggling predispositions. You all have families. Some of you are parents, some of you are caretakers. Maybe you or your children ride the bus or pass by WeGo Central as a part of your daily commute. Imagine being one of the annual riders here in Nashville, one of the 7,634,900 people, or let's just look at people who ride the bus daily in Nashville. That accounts for 27,700. Who already seek higher pay because of receiving minimum wage, who are already affected by the processes of gerrymandering and redlining, who are already impacted by underserved schools and overpolluted communities, who just want to efficiently receive healthy and affordable food. This is why a pop-up farmers market alleviates poverty in the most sustainable way while also combating inequity. Thank you.
If there are any school board members in the gallery, please feel free to come and sit in the chamber. That way, if you have questions, we'll take yours too. At this time, question from colleagues? Councilmember Gamble.
Thank you for that wonderful presentation and your great ideas about the farmers market pop-up at the WeGo Central. Your marketing plan sounds great with the buses, and also reaching out to farmers market to provide food. What other type of support or resources would you need to get this off the ground?
I think the biggest resources would be we would need to get permits approved to use the space in WeGo that we've already talked about being available if this were to be possible. So the permits, making sure that we have contact with local farmers, to making sure that, Second Harvest Food Bank, making sure that we have the food that we need to actually, distribute it. And other than that, it's kind of a self-sufficient little bubble.
Would you need funding for operating, or how would you staff it? Would it be staffed by volunteers, or have you thought about that? And I ask that because it's an opportunity for our metro government to look at how we can support that.
So I'm fine. I know that we have a lot of people who would be willing to volunteer, as well as if we want the farmers themselves to be able to come out, they also don't have to because that is a long drive and they have things to do. So the staffing would probably be by volunteers, and funding, the main thing would be the food itself.
We also have support We also have support from WeGo, and I've been researching this project for about a year or so, and I have support from Dr. Kendra Apowitz, who's the sustainability chief at the mayor's office, and she's willing to help us as well.
All right, Councilmember Hoffman.
Thank you, Chair. First off, really good presentation. You're hitting an area that's near and dear to my heart. My day job, I work in population health, specifically with federally qualified health centers and ensuring that patients are having gaps in care closed. You've hit on many: diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, all things related to just access to food, which is amazing. I don't think that's common knowledge to most folks, so I really appreciate you highlighting that. My question is, do you think you have any plans to partner with any local FQHCs, federally qualified health centers?
It sounds like a good idea. We hadn't really thought about it, but that sounds like a good plan. I love the. I'm gonna write that down. Actually, I don't have a pen, but I'm gonna. There you go. I'm gonna write that down. Thank you.
Awesome. And then we have a question at the podium. You're recognized.
Aaron Rodriguez, Antioch High School. Before I started teaching, I actually ran a Second Harvest Food Bank at the Casey Housing Project, so this really is something that touches my heart. One of the biggest issues that we had was dealing with our elderly population and our disabled population who weren't able to come and access our food bank. How does this intersect with transit or with helping those individuals who might not be able to reach those farmers markets to get that food?
Okay, so one thing that is really fun about this project specifically is that with an hopefully improving transit system, there will be increased access over time. So the more people can get into the actual WeGo Central station, the better. And often, they try their best to be inclusive for disabilities, but it's not always the easiest, and doesn't always go as planned. But hopefully it'll be a place where people can come in, because the WeGo Central, WeGo is set up as a spoke system where most of the routes go into WeGo Central in order to cross to different lines, which means that majority of people are going into WeGo Central on their daily commute.
Also, there is something called WeGo Access that allows members in Nashville to get, Uber from their houses to the nearest bus stop. So that could also help out.
All right. Thank you, guys. We will be, like I said, this is not going to end today. So I see some of my colleagues still have questions, but for the sake of time, we will not be able to take it. But we'll be getting those questions. I'll be getting it to your teachers and your coordinators, and this conversation is going to continue. Thank you, guys. And our last group is the NCYC group. They will be doing 3 presentations, and so I'll leave it to you guys.
Hi, my name is Bella Seaton, and I'm currently a senior at McGivick High School. In addition to being a student, I have worked as a lifeguard and swim instructor while also volunteering for the Mayor's Youth Council and participating in school activities like Student Council and National Honor Society. Today, I'm proud to be representing the Nashville Child and Youth Collaborative as a youth ambassador. Before I begin my presentation, I'd like to take a minute to share about the Nashville Child and Youth Collaborative, or the NCYC. The NCYC was created in 2023 by a group of Nashville nonprofits that work with or on behalf of children and youth to raise awareness about issues affecting young people and help center their voices in city decision-making. Last year, the NCYC hosted a forum during the mayor's race where young people from the Mayor's Youth Council asked questions of candidates and helped emphasize why it's so important to have young people at the table when decisions are being made about them. I had the opportunity to speak at this event. Today, the NCYC continues to raise awareness of critical issues through infographics, media, and events like today. For more information, you can visit the NCYC website for fornashvillefuture.org. The purpose of today's presentations is to raise awareness with the council members of 3 critical topics facing children and youth in Nashville. 2 of these topics, mental health supports and safe community spaces, were identified from an NCYC survey of over 350 students, young people last year. My topic, childcare, was identified based on the data discussions with the NCYC and community members. You can reference visual copies of our data and more information about the NCYC in the booklet that was given to you. Now, I'd like to shift gears and get started with my presentation on childcare in Nashville. I'm going to share a little about the current challenges of childcare in Nashville. Then I'll share information about Metro government investments in this space currently and about creative ways local organizations are addressing the need. I'm also going to share about how other cities are addressing this issue. Finally, I'll close with why this topic is so important for the future of Nashville, and then I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. The challenge. In Nashville, 34% of children are under the age of 5. Many who lack access to high-quality care. I'll provide insights into the current challenge that we are seeing in Nashville around childcare. Childcare deserts are predominantly located in the north and the southeast of the country, contributing to the limited access of high-quality care. The increasing cost. Average childcare costs for infants in Nashville are higher than the average college tuition, posing an economic burden on families seeking childcare services. The variability in quality. Nearly half of childcare agencies lack a quality rating under the Child Care Report Card 1 through 3-star system, hindering parents' ability to assess quality despite not being a licensing requirement. Staffing struggles. Childcare workers earn approximately 36% below the estimated cost of living in Nashville, leading to limited retention in the workforce. Quantitative data reveals barriers for families, including a significant financial implication due to varying annual childcare costs by type and age, as well as limited accessibility stemming from the fact that only 22% of centers provide transportation. Now I will give a brief overview of Metro government's investment in childcare. Childcare, specifically Head Start programs, is recognized as a priority area in the Metro budget, reflecting the city's commitment to early childhood education and support for families with young children. The 2024 budget includes funding for Head Start programs through the Metro Action Commission budget, which covers staffing and programmatic costs essential for running the high-quality early education programs. In the 2024 fiscal year Metro budget, the Head Start grant amount is $21.3 million, which is lower than the fiscal 2023 grant, when the grant was just over $24.5 million. As far as the amount of positions that are funded, the 2024 budget includes 296.98 full-time equivalent employees, which was the same in the fiscal year 2023. In Nashville, there are many exciting initiatives and organizations that support access to childcare. I'm going to highlight 2 non-government investments and 1 government investment. Raising Readers in Nashville is a collaborative impact group that has several action teams that are focused on increasing access to quality of childcare. 3 childcare-specific strategies that Raising Readers is focused on are: the first strategy focuses on childcare expansion. Raising Readers has partnered with Vanderbilt University to map supply and demand for childcare in Davidson County, with the expectation that data will be used to direct allocations. Additionally, they have created an expansion guide for childcare providers to expand their reach to offer more seats to children. The second strategy focuses on childcare educators. Raising Readers has a collaborative focused on increasing pay for childcare educators aligned to salary parity for other early education professionals. The third strategy focuses on childcare educators' professional development. Raising Readers has also created a citywide collaborative to align and create multiple professional development opportunities and career pathways. Another non-government investment in childcare is the McNeely Center, which has been providing services since 1916. The McNeely Center for Children provides quality, affordable childcare to Nashville families, including income-based scholarships, parenting, education and support, preschool literacy programs, pre-K, and Head Start programs. The center is funded through grants from foundations and other nonprofits, such as the United Way of Greater Nashville and the Memorial Foundation. One newer additional government-related investment that impacts Nashville's childcare landscape was announced in February of 2024. The Tennessee Department of Human Services grant opportunity to expand employer partnerships for childcare. This is a 3-year pilot funded by the Child Care Improvement Fund, which allocates $15 million a year in state dollars to support child care provided through nonprofit organizations. Outside of Nashville, 2 cities that are implementing some initiative solutions towards expanding high-quality childcare access are Memphis, Tennessee, and Austin, Texas. In Austin, Texas, through a partnership with the Austin and Travis County Success by 6 Coalition, the city works to ensure families have high access to high-quality early learning options that meet their needs. The city works with an organization called Workforce Solutions to provide subsidized childcare for eligible families. Memphis, Tennessee has developed a public-private partnership that strives to increase access to affordable childcare. The partnership is a coalition of local nonprofits, the City of Memphis, Shelby County, and Maycomb Capital, that have come together to expand needs-based pre-K in Shelby County using outcomes financing. The partnership between the public sector, local nonprofit organizations, and mission-aligned investors finances approximately 1,000 high-quality pre-K seats for low-income 4-year-old children. I hope that children in Nashville have access to quality childcare because I firmly believe that every child deserves an equal opportunity to succeed. As someone who deeply values education and understands its transformative power, I see childcare as a critical part in early learning. It's not just about providing a safe space for children while their parents work. It's about laying the foundation for their future academic and social success. By investing in childcare, we're investing in the future of our community. We're giving children from all backgrounds the chance to develop essential skills such as language, literacy, and social interaction that will serve them throughout their lives. Moreover, ensuring childcare's Ensuring to childcare enables parents, particularly mothers, to pursue their careers without sacrificing their children's well-being. This in turn fosters economic stability and growth within our city. Ultimately, my hope is that by prioritizing childcare accessibility and quality, we can break down the barriers to success and create a more equitable society where every child has the opportunity to thrive. It's now open for questions.
Thank you. Colleagues, questions? Councilmember Ellis.
Wonderful presentation and love the documents that you have for us. So I wanted to hear more about community safe spaces.
That's a different.
Huh?
I think that's a different presentation. Or is that part of yours, Bella?
It's a part of the.
Yeah, so we have three different presentations. So she's doing childcare.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, so she's childcare. Yes.
Okay, so talk to me about the early childhood education programs. What do those look like?
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I do not have the information document on that, but a member from our NCYC is taking notes and we'll get back to you on that.
Councilmember Taylor. Chair's blank.
Thank you, Chair. This is near and dear to my heart. I'm not sure. There is a program with 19 early childhood facilities here in Nashville that provide a sliding scale for income-based parents. So based on your income is how much you pay for your child care. They are doing this with my apologies for being, so I'm a new dad, so I get foggy a lot here lately. That's why it's near and dear to my heart. But with the, somebody throw me an alley-oop here. What is it again? What is it? No, not Metro Action. It's nonprofit that helps all the other nonprofits.
United Way.
United Way. Hey, the chair's got it. All right. Thank you. I'm foggy. We were up from 1 a.m. until 4 a.m. last night. So, yeah. So, my question is, have you heard of this program? And then two, knowing that these programs exist, is there a way that we could possibly think of ways to help get them funding? As you mentioned, these 3-star programs, they have to be 3-star. They have these different spaces that they have to these areas they have to achieve to be able to receive the funding to do this.
I have not heard of that program, but as for ways of getting them funding, one way or one possibility is to foster more public-private partnerships, meaning that between the government, private sector, and nonprofit organizations, they will come together to support childcare initiatives.
So would you suggest to the mayor and the city council of Nashville to provide in our budget monetary values to be able to help support something of this nature?
Yes. In our Nashville budget, I know a lot of money goes towards different things like public education, transportation, community safety, economic opportunity, and the Metro's workforce. And I know childcare being as important as it is, I think it would be appropriate to take some of the funding from those categories and add it to that.
Thank you. I think I've found an amendment. Thank you so much.
And I do want to say I'm not a new mom. I'm a mother of 5, and mine are grown. But I will tell you that early childhood education is very critical. There's a lot of study that shows that what kids learn between the ages of 2 and 3 stay with them for a really long time. And so you're setting that foundation of what they will learn. So most kids that learn the ABC in pre-K, in Head Start, In childcare, you can see that they're very advanced. So by the time my kids go to kindergarten, they were already ready for first grade. And so having that early childhood education is very important, and making it accessible to everybody so that every child had opportunity to get the head start in life is something that we all need to do. And so I wanted to add that to the early childhood education, and we'll get some more information. Councilmember God, you are recognized.
Thank you so much, Speaker Pro Tem. And thank you so much for your presentation. I also had the opportunity to meet with several of you a little earlier, and so it's incredible to hear the details of your plan. So thank you for this, and thank you for your work. Specifically, just like the Councilmember Taylor and others are discussing the importance of the work that you've done in your research here. One of the things, and I think this is what you were just elaborating on with the potential of collaboration and focusing of how we do this funding, and whether that's, I think the schools looking at, they're looking at certain initiatives the school system is when it comes to early childhood care, and then also some of our nonprofit and other private entities. And so could you just restate, if you already have, some of what that collaboration could look like, whether that's outside of funding is always a mechanism for that. But you were talking about the two things, the importance about, as we look at how this impacts young people's health, which is something I think we don't think of, or at least I don't think of as that perspective. I usually look at it from the economic, gender, and racial equity barriers that it continues to create for kind of the adult side of things. But could you talk through anything that maybe you didn't have a chance to focus on when it comes to those creative solutions through collaborations that maybe you want to point out?
Yeah, as a public school student that attends one of the largest public high schools in Nashville, our enrollment is 2,100. You can see, like, you get a firsthand look at the disparities that come with, like, being in that sort of education system. And I believe the beginning of that kind of starts with childcare and not being able a proper way to develop those literacy, reading, and social interaction skills. So with childcare being more of a resource, especially to low-income families or families that exist in the districts that go to attend to those schools, I think it would better able youth to have a better education. And then as for other alternative solutions, I know that creating subsidies or grants for child care centers to help offset operating costs and ensure affordability for families would be really beneficial. And subsidies could start based on income or occupation, meaning if we have to start small, we could do it based on the income that the family receives per year. Or it could be something more along their occupation, meaning that if a teacher were to have a small child and she needed to go to the work, she'd be prioritized because she is also a teacher, if we had to start on a smaller basis instead of giving everyone free childcare.
All righty, thank you so much. All right, we'll go to our next presenter.
Good afternoon. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. It is very much appreciated. My name is Faye Lewis, and I am a youth ambassador for the Nashville Child and Youth Collaborative, and I am a senior at Nashville School of the Arts. I'm in the Theater Conservatory, as a little fun fact. As Bella mentioned, the NCYC is working to raise awareness of issues affecting children and youth in our city, and to help amplify youth voices in city discussions surrounding young people. Today, I'll be talking to you about a very important topic to me. I will be discussing mental health, youth mental health specifically. I'm going to share a little bit about the current challenges of youth mental health in Nashville, and then I'll share some information about our government investments and some different local ways that and local organizations that I would like to highlight. And then I will close with why this topic is so important to me and why it is important for it to be discussed and just, yeah, I apologize. To start, over 50% of youth in Nashville with mental health conditions go untreated. According to the Sycamore Institute, girls in Tennessee are more likely to report struggling with mental health challenges, whereas boys are more likely to die by suicide. In the last decade, the suicide rate in Tennessee has nearly doubled. In the last year, there's been a 9% increase in counselor referrals, along with 37% of parents reporting concern for the mental health and the mental well-being of their children. 36% of youth between ages 6 to 17 statewide are diagnosed with one of 11 mental health conditions, with ADHD, anxiety, and depression being the leading three. Fewer than 30% of youth in the Nashville Promise area are insured, which in turn makes it hard for most to find treatment. So I can only assume that those numbers are a lot higher than we have record of. Tennessee rates of youth mental health show that they are less likely to be treated, yet are on par with national growing rates. Due to the lack of data, which is due to the lack of resources going out, it makes it very hard to get an in-depth understanding on the reality of youth mental health and how it varies from person and different demographics. A little over 4% of the budget is going to public health, which I can only assume means that less than that is going to youth mental health specifically. Over 20% of the budget is going to public safety and justice, when most of the times and the issue is probably due to poor mental health and lack of resources. I can only assume that mental health is not a very big priority due to how the topic was very vaguely talked about and how low the funding is in comparison to a lot of other, in my opinion, less crucial issues. Where it was talked about, it was supposed to give individuals going through a mental crisis services immediately. But why do we have to wait until it becomes a crisis before we are able to get the help that we need? It feels like a poor attempt at damage control rather than trying to prevent the overall problem. There are a few organizations I would like to highlight. STARS, which I have a STARS counselor at my school, and I know a couple of other schools do as well. They provide multiple levels of prevention services, and in the first semester of the 23-24 school year, STARS reached over 31,000 students in the Davidson County area. They had over 2,000 referred and got serviced, and 93% of the students that use their services report making positive changes in their life after. OASIS provided over 3,600 services for different youth in 2022. They offer free mental health services, and they advocate for youth by collaborating with community leaders. The Family and Children Service serves people in crisis and transition. They offer free counseling services for anyone and any family. Over 45,000 individuals were served in the counseling and crisis service. Almost 12,000 adults and children were served in the community-based program. The reason I am so passionate about this topic is because I have struggled with mental health from a very young age. I did not start receiving services until years after the issues initially started, not because I didn't want to speak up, but because I did not know that my issues were problems and not normal. I thought it was just a part of growing up. Everybody had excuses for everything. For the most part, all of my knowledge of mental health was self-received through different YouTube videos and social media apps. I did mini research on different mental health topics on my own as a 9 to 10-year-old because I found the topics interesting. The age at which I was thinking about these things, looking back on it, should have been a big red flag because I did not have any adults in my life that had ever talked about it. I did not start talking about my interest in it until a couple years later, around age like 11 to 13. In doing so, I started realizing and seeing different patterns and problems within myself. I did not speak up about it because at the time, there were no adults in my life that had ever made it a priority. I did not know how, nor if I would even be taken seriously. I had my first hospitalization a little after I started receiving services through my school. Not due to the services I was receiving, but I did not understand the severity of the emotions and the issues that I was facing. In return, no adult around me did either, until it got too bad. I had been hospitalized again a month or two after that. Almost every person I talked to while I was there had had multiple visits. It felt like once you got there the first time, you were bound to come back eventually, like it was a step in a cycle rather than a step ladder. Your mission there wasn't to get better. It was to get out as fast as possible. You become really good at acting as if you are okay, really good at answering the questions that they ask. Most people will not tell the truth when asked about their mental health just because of the stigma around it. Most of my mental health progress is due to myself and the help of my support systems. If I did not have an interest in learning about it, or if I did not see the YouTube video on my recommended that day, I have zero clue what I would look like today. Most youth and kids around me do not have the same interest or self-awareness as myself. We cannot keep waiting until the problem gets to a breaking point before we start taking action. We need to make mental health just as important by spreading information just as much as we do about physical health. We cannot expect people, and especially children, to be able to speak up and talk about what they need when they don't even know if they have an issue. Open to questions.
Questions? Simmons, you are sitting in Michael Tess's seat. I will allow you because you're part of my team.
Thank you, thank you. This is a very important topic, and I'm very thankful that you're shining light on this. As a fellow high school student, I can say that I have struggled with mental health, and just about everyone I know throughout high school has always struggled with it. My question is this. It's very important that we have counselors, social workers, psychologists, and nurses in schools as sort of a final step to prevent or to help severe mental health cases. Are there other practices in schools, community centers, or other frequent use spaces that can be introduced to sort of build out a holistic approach to mental health?
I feel Tennessee as a whole, and specifically the metro area, has been making very small changes, but we are slowly working up. I do not think we have enough counselors in our school. I think we need to give counselors and the mental health field more funding as a whole so that we have more to be able to provide the services we need. I also feel it is more about spreading the information and removing the stigma around all of different struggles that children and teens could face. I was talking to one of the council members earlier today about how I think we could add different curriculum into schools and like health classes, talking about mental health, because I feel that is just as important as physical health and could be grouped in the same category. So just more about getting the information out and making it known that it is okay to speak up and receive the help that you need.
I'm grateful that MMPS Central Office, as well as the school board, we have a lot of school board member here with us. And so we hope to continue this conversation with them after this. Councilmember Ellis, do you have a question? No? Okay, all right.
Actually, I do, sorry.
I thought I saw your hands up before, yes. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's very brave of you to be able to speak out in such a public platform about your desire to address, for adults to listen and address the mental health concerns that our children are dealing with. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Any other question? School board member T.K. Finn, our newly appointed school board member. Where are you sitting? You're sitting in... No, we'll give you a mic. Just sit at one of the council people. Just let me know whose desk you're at. And I think that's Jason.
Spain.
All righty. All righty. Councilmember Spain.
All right. First, thank you. I think that mental health is a issue, and it has its own platform. I don't think that we need to group it with physical health. I think that it does have its own platform, and honestly, it's a near dear component and special to me because I do know. Because I do know several kids as well as in high school, and that was many, many years ago. Don't ask me to go that far back, but a lot of my friends struggle with that in college, high school, even in adulthood. And like you said, not knowing how to talk to anyone or having an outlet or having adults actually comprehend or understand. I think especially in a lot of African-American black households, it is kind of pushed under the rug. And so the programs that you mentioned, how did you find out about them? Do they come to the schools and do they talk to the kids? Do your guidance counselors provide those programs? Those 2 free programs, is it open for general public? Like, I would like to help to like spread the word, at least in my district alone.
So STARS also offers free mental health services, but I found out about STARS through my school. The school that I was at last year had a partnership with Vanderbilt, and the school that I'm at this year has a partnership with STARS rather than Vanderbilt. They offer counseling services. And while doing my research for this speech and like getting all of my information together, I was provided with the other 2 organizations that I really liked once I looked into them.
I would like to get some of that information from you after this. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Time, but I'll take that last one. Councilmember Gamble.
Thank you, Pro Tem. It'll be really quick. Thank you for bringing this issue and bringing awareness to it. You talked about a lot of programs that are currently in place to help students who are struggling with mental health. Is there something that you wish was in your elementary school or middle school that would have been helpful in helping you identify mental health, or just education or preventive measures? Is there anything that you could think of that might have helped when you were younger to be preventative?
Honestly, just having somebody talk about it around me, having the adults in my life make it just as much of a priority as I feel it should be. Because kids and like elementary school aged children are not going to be thinking about things that aren't talked and seen around them.
Thank you. And I do want to say that about 2-3 budgets ago, we actually added more money to the school board budget to be able to put advocacy center in every elementary school in Metro Nashville Public Schools. And the idea was that we're asking so much of the kids, but it's not just about math and English, it's about the socio-emotional welfare. And so every elementary school in Nashville has an advocacy center to be able to help children deal with these issues. Now, at the time, we weren't able to get it in all schools, but we made the elementary school a priority. And I think from what you're saying, we need to make sure that every school, middle I, and Simmons was saying, what about even after school, so that we can make sure that we help children. Again, thank you for your braveness in discussing this publicly and shedding more light on the topic. Thank you. And so our final presentation of the day will be the last one from NCYC.
All right, good afternoon. So today, my name is Christopher Barksdale. What's up here? My name is Christopher Barksdale, and today I'll be talking about a very important topic that is important to me, which is safe spaces and safe community spaces for youth. I'm going to share a little bit about the current challenge of safe community spaces in Nashville. Then I'll share some information about the investments the Metro government is putting towards this issue and creative ways local governments are addressing this need. I'm also going to share about how other cities are addressing this issue. Finally, I'll close with this topic of why it's important to me, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have. So to start off, I'll share some information that I have personally gone and analyzed with my internship, Nashville Youth Design Team. So over this summer specifically, we interviewed just over 1,000 kids, and 40% of those kids from ages 6 to 18 see there is a very big need for more community spaces and activities for youth to do. So this is not only just like movie theaters or like the mall or skating ring. This is like stuff like more like, let's say, basketball courts, more soccer fields, which I know one was recently added at Antioch Park, but more just like things to do. Within the same group, we saw that kids mainly associated Nashville with words like boring and annoying due to the amount of development that was done around Nashville, which does not seem to have their best interests at heart. So like a lot of construction of like different housing, which I know earlier, I believe it was Antioch, they touched up on the housing crisis and how people are getting pushed back out of their houses. Shout out to you guys, see you guys in the back. But as well as 76% of those kids saw that there needed to be more things to do as well as places to walk. So two things going hand in hand, as well as with the transportation group. So these issues aren't just going to be seen in like one demographic. These are like reoccurring issues that all kids see and all kids are talking about that they need help with. Because again, they're kids, and yet adults, unfortunately, are not keen to listening to kids that much. Let's put it that way. So here's some quotes that I found looking through the interviews. One youth said that they would like to, direct quote, "I would like to go places, but I never have anywhere to go. So I stay home, locked up and bored." That one can be attributed to, coming back out from quarantine, but also it is from a lack of transportation, mainly bus routes, stops, bus routes, stops, or sidewalks and bike lanes, which was already previously touched upon. And then another child said that they find it annoying how really the only places to hang out are the mall and skating ring. So this also goes back to the earlier point about just the more quantity of things that are available to youth. And that's a very, very big thing because, you have public parks. Let's just take Centennial, for instance, where that they are advertising, hey, come out, you can spend like a nice day here. Yet there's not much for youth to do out there unless they have like their own equipment. So that's one problem. So currently, here's some ways that Metro Nashville city government is investing in community spaces. So in the fiscal year of 2024, the Metro budget has increased its budget to it increased to $63.6 million, which is a $8.3 million increase from the previous year. There are 696 full-time equivalent positions funded through this budget, an increase of 31.63 positions from last year. One exciting opportunity that this will open up is to allow community centers to open on Saturdays, which I remember one council member talked about doing. And this will also allow youth to get out on the weekends instead of staying cooped up in the house on weekends. Another exciting development in the 2024 budget is additional funding for NASA, which is an after-school program I'll be talking about later on during my presentation, which has provided funding for 250 more after-school slots and 100 summer slots for June 2024. Additionally, there has been a total increase of $1.25 million helping the homeless find homes permanently or find shelters. This is tied in directly into the use of public spaces and public parks, especially the safety aspect, because as of right now, youth gives Nashville out of 10, 5.4 on the safety wellness chart from based off NYTD's scale. But also adding this funding will give more opportunities for more homeless people to find other places to rest their heads at night besides a public park or a public bench or any other public place that youth will also go to. Now, in Nashville, there are 3 non-government city investments I'd like to talk about. The first one would be the Boys and Girls Club, then NASA, that was previously mentioned, and then finally my internship, the Nashville Youth Design Team. So starting off with the Boys and Girls Club. The program opens new avenues to youth to explore in both classroom and home, both in classroom and at home, starting from elementary all the way up to high school. They advocate to be a resource for lower income youth to stay at pace with their peers in school. In the summer, they open their doors for youth as well with a summer program that continues their advancement of their childcare and club members. As stated on the official page, their methods hit their desired goals with 76% of low-income club members ages 12 through 18 receiving A's and B's, which is either on par or higher than their higher-income counterparts in school. Next up is NASA. NASA is an organization similar to the Boys and Girls Club that provides both after-school and summer program for youth to explore many interests. Each week, there is a new topic or activity or profession introduced. This can range anywhere between a knitter, all up to a yoga instructor, or even a teacher. The programs open up possibilities for youth to find what they enjoy doing, which also, again, range from elementary all up to high school. Where the Boys and Girls Club and NASA differ is that NASA is also a place for youth to do things like how we are doing today, which is open up and share their voices and opinions. Lastly would be the group that I personally work with was the Nashville Youth Design Team. Same as NASA, we do a lot of advocacy, and we also spread awareness to older people in the community about what the younger generation needs to be healthy, as well as find ways to solve the problems. We reach out, to younger individuals to help us come up with projects. So over the summer, we had a youth exhibition, which is a little showcase of what we did over the summer. So it was like different projects. So you can have one over community spaces, one over transportation, one about mental spaces. So it's just a variety of things. And all these projects are led by a team of high schoolers. So it's just student-led, which is a very big switch from what a lot of other organizations have done. After each summer, there's a youth exhibition, once again, that showcase the projects that we best feel that targets our areas of, I guess you want to say, expertise, And community spaces is a very big thing that we focus on even since the beginning of my time with them, which was 4 years ago. This year, we once again focus on open spaces and recently have gotten funding to put a soccer field at Antioch Park. So outside of Nashville, there are several cities that are addressing this issue. So if you go to the Bridge Teen Center in Orlando Park is a similar organization to the Boys and Girls Club of America. They specialize not only in engaging but empowering youth ranging from 7th to 12th grade. Of the total funds, 91% of the funds are redirected to help youth and young members with things like open art studios, relative to like expressive arts, lectures, and veterinarians to talk about their connections. It's help with connections, sorry. Smart Asset is a resource that we saw which highlights cities that are best tailored to youth. So this ranges from places like Lexington, Kentucky, which focused on acknowledging their big basketball population and having one of the most public basketball courts, with there being 23 courts for every 1,000 people, all the way to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, for being ranked high on their list because of their walkability score of 60. And these rankings are relative to population, so they're not as skewed as you would think. So as a young person in Nashville, community spaces are important to me because they're a great way for kids to socialize outside of their zone schools. This will bring Nashville together in the long run, starting the first of many steps in turning Nashville into the community that we all are here to create. One day I hope that all children and youth in Nashville have the opportunity to go outside and not have to worry about if the space they're going to is safe, where they don't have to worry about a park being closed or where to go while their parents are working. I hope that all children and youth in Nashville are in safe and inviting environments that promote socialization and increase overall physical and mental health of youth. Thank you for your time, and I'm now open for questions.
Councilmember Droffel.
Yeah, thanks. Great job, and appreciate your suggestions. Can you tell me a little about, worked a little bit on this and trying to get some ideas. What would you like to see in terms of interests for youth during the summer or during other times? What could we do to focus, and what ideas you might have that give us some specific items?
So I know that Nashville, obviously, just going off our nickname, Music City, there are a lot of kids in Nashville that do expressive arts, such as music. Even my school, Hume Fogg, we have both our traditional strings and band, as well as ours, what we call expressive arts, which is just like your garage band style, or like any type of like genre of music. But just have programs like that, but that are outside of school. Like they don't, like you shouldn't have to go into school to expand on like what like their hobbies are, and like something as small as like a Foursquare box is something that shows that like, hey, we're like, you guys are looking out for us. You're giving us an option that is there, but not, like overreaching, if that makes sense.
Yeah, good suggestion. I'm just curious, in terms of accessibility, I know we were working on this too, is transportation's a big issue too, right? Getting to everybody to where you might be able to do. In your thoughts, how far could you think people or youth could walk to a certain location? I'm just trying to get an idea. We need to have buses, but is there some other way that where we build some kind of regional hubs of areas of interest that might be used, and how far you think youth would walk or create some kind of access level?
So that question kind of goes into what my group for the youth exhibition did this last summer, which was create, first it was the destination as well as the bus route times on like different bulletin boards around Nashville, as well as having a partnership with either Bird or like any other like electric scooter company, which has like checkpoints between neighborhoods that do not have bus stops close to them. So I know for me personally, I live out in Madison down Neely's Bend, and my closest bus stop, which is Route 76, would be around like a 20-minute walk from me. So like having, again, like the electric scooters or like some type of like extra safety for bikers, because I know that bike lanes, sometimes they have some type of like guard railing or something like that, but I know especially down Main Street, which turns to Gallatin, it doesn't really have that.
Yeah, and those are good suggestions. How far would you think youth would be willing to walk to get, let's say, to a scooter or to a bus? Is there a place where you go, 3 blocks is too much, 6 blocks is too much? Or, as we're trying to figure this out, is there any top of mind thought on that?
So I would have to say 20 minutes would be a bit much. So I would bring it down to 15. That would probably be about like the limit of somebody, like how long somebody would go. So that's probably about like the average like phone call with somebody's mom's, like something to take up like a small amount of time that is like meaningless. But like 20 minutes is like a bit much, especially during the summer if like kids are gonna go out and walk and it's like 100-some degrees.
Okay, thanks so much.
I'm gonna let Trent to go, and Trent is sitting where Ross Bradford is.
Yeah, very well done presentation. I'm big into the urban planning spaces, and so over the past 5, 6, 7 decades, we've lost a lot of our community centers, or as in they're calling the urban planning space, third places. And my generation, most notably from a lot of older folks, has been claimed to be that we're on our phones constantly. And so would you agree with the idea that we're on our phones a lot more because we don't have these said community centers?
I think it's a mix of lack of community centers as well as like 3 things. Lack of community centers, again, transportation. If it's like out of the way, you're not gonna bother with it. So more about like being more convenient. And then as well as promotion. So like awareness that, hey, you have this public park. You have this like walking trail that's by you. But besides like, word of like ear, or like if you actually look online, public parks, there's nothing else around. Like, hey, like public park, like down the road. Like I've seen so many McDonald's signs, like, hey, McDonald's 2 miles to the left.
All righty. Wow. Thank you. Would you guys please give this student another round of applause, all of them. I told some people that this was live streamed. My apology, it's being recorded. If for my colleagues that did not see the entire presentation, and for those watching or parents that want to see all that was discussed today, it will be on the Metro YouTube channel and we can go back to it. I want to reiterate that when I had the idea of doing this, one of the reasons is because my daughter was part of the Mayor's Youth Council, and I did attend their summit a couple of times. And every time that they have a lot of great ideas, I always say, you need to come and tell council, and then nothing happens. And so even sometimes when the kids have great ideas, the ideas are shelved and nothing happens. So we're not going to do that this time around. I've been telling the children and their teachers and everybody that this first cohort, after today, we're going to continue working on the ideas that they gave us. I'm expecting that those of you that are listening, my colleagues, the school board members, are going to helping us with this. The mayor's office is interested, and we start working on some of these things that they gave us until the next cohort, until the next Youth in Local Government Day. So this is not going to be all of it. We're still going to continue the conversation. We'll get the presentation to all of you. And if you have further questions, we'll be more than happy to entertain it. We'll also create opportunity for anyone that wants to visit these students and their groups to be able to talk to them some more about these ideas. We'll be able to do that. I heard about housing, making sure that corporations are not buying single-family homes in Antioch. I heard about transportation for kids that have to walk miles to get to school because there's no bus route along the school lines. I had a young girl says, I live in a place where there's shooting around my house all the time. And what do we need to do about gun violence? I heard about children talking about food desert, why it's important for us to have healthy, good food. The fact that you're poor does not mean you have to eat badly. And how do we make that accessible? I had a young lady talk about why childcare and early childhood education is very important. Mental health. Making sure we take care of our children, we listen to them, and we help them become all that they could be. I understand that we as a society put a lot of pressure on them. But when it comes to helping them, how do we make sure that we have programs and things, not just when they're old enough to tell us, but even when they're young for us to make plans for it? Finally, I had a young man talk about safe places. Where do we want them to go when they're not in school? What do we want them to keep doing outside of schools? I don't know about y'all. Those are great ideas. When we started this, I told the teachers I did not want to give the students any topic. I want each cohort to think about the areas that they live in and the problems that they face in that area. If you live in Antioch, you know about housing. If you live in North Nashville, you know about guns. If you're McGavock, you know transit is an issue. And you can see how they actually took those issues and they were able to tell us what the problems are. But not only that, they also give us solution. So I want to thank all the students. Thank you so much for all the time that you put into this. I want to thank the teachers for working with them. I'm so grateful to the principals when I called them in October, November, talking about this crazy idea and said, okay, we're going to do this. I'm grateful to the central office, Dr. Bram, Dr. Winfrey, Mr. Clay, Dr. Battle. My school board members, all of you that are here, I'm very grateful. My council members, thank you so much for making the time. This has been a great team effort. The mayor, the vice mayor, the council staff, ITS, my volunteer, we have volunteer school board members, and I cannot forget Sean Ahmed and Ken Crow, my interns. They've been the one working with me on this for months and help us put this together. I see a lot of parents and community leaders in the back. Thank you all for being here. I hope this is not just going to be a photo op, a YLG picture, and we'll let it end there. Actually, no, we're not, because I'm not going to let you all. You know me, hey. So you're going to still be dealing with me. So thank you all so much. So what's going to happen after this, students, we're going to go back to the jury room. We have some snacks for you. The ones that didn't get food to, there's more food down there. After that, we will do the scavenger hunt. Somebody's been like, when are we doing the scavenger hunt? So we'll do the scavenger hunt after that. And then at 4 o'clock, I want you all to come back here. You're going to have a council committee meeting happen here between 4 and 4:30. I want you to see these people at work and to actually see how we conduct business in this room. After that, we'll go back to the jury room. We have 4 state legislators that are going to come and talk to you. So you have the opportunity to talk to the mayor, the vice mayor. You've heard from your council members. You've heard from your school board members. The state is another piece. We talk about the state is going to preempt. The gun stuff, talk to the state people. There's a whole lot we need to talk to the state people. So you're going to have, because council will be busy from 4 o'clock, so we decide to bring state legislators to help you close out the day. Thank you, NCYC. They've got $50 certificate for you. Hey, I want to be a kid. Maybe I'll get one. And so thank you all so much. It's been a great day so far. We still got a couple more to go. I hope you keep enjoying it. And again, everyone, I'm so excited. This was a thought 2 years ago, but I'm glad that it came to fruition. And I'm hoping that I'm going to hold all of you to it, that we're going to keep doing this. Thank you, and we are adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.